But we are not low frequency beings. In fact, we are the opposite. Now, for us to raise our frequency, we have to.
RJ, why is 2025 such an important year for all of us?
Just to let you know, I'm going to be doing a live class very soon on the false awakening, the golden age of Saturn and the rise of AI. It's absolutely not suitable for YouTube, but it is in my private class. Click on the link below. I'll see you on the other side. It's the most important year in human history. Believe it or not, it is. So there's a couple of factors. I think the most important thing we need to realize is that we're at a stage, and we've talked about this before. The Earth is being bombarded for a period of time, even though time doesn't exist, but for a period of time, Earth is being bombarded with supremely high frequency energies. Supremely high frequency energies. So that's really the universe rolling out the red carpet for us to start to work with ourselves in a more advanced or higher frequency way. So this is the time, these next couple of years, this is absolutely the time where we are being bombarded with this. Now, what goes along with that, as we're already seeing, will be the forces are going to be working in overtime in ways that we've never seen before to sort of counterbalance the high frequency energies that we're being bombarded with so we can work with ourselves in a more advanced way. And of course, the systems of control, or the matrix, or however you want to, whatever word you want to use, are going to be working at a level that we have, an unprecedented level, at an unprecedented level. So this year specifically is where there is this decision point, or this source point within ourselves, where we have to make a choice in terms of how we're going to start operating with ourselves. And so that's why 2025, and you're seeing all things, as you just said, we're only 2 weeks in, and there's been some amazing things that have been going on. And this is just the start. This is just the start. But this is the time where everyone chooses how they're going to be working with themselves. Is it going to be more driven by your harvested attention, which is what creates your conditioned and brainwashed mind? Or are we going to learn from detachment, which will give us discernment, which will allow us to work with our higher mind and utilize the energies that we are being presented with in order to ascend the frequencies? And by using these things properly and optimally, which is what all my books, classes, courses, retreats, and workshops and interviews are about, is the ascension, by working with yourself. But the key to this is you cannot receive what you don't give. And we have to start to understand that you have to actually invest in yourself. Watching endless videos and just garnering information is not going to do anything. We have to learn to go within and actually utilize the self-control and self-discipline that it takes to focus on the self. And when we focus on the self, that's what unfolds. And as this unfolds, the outer world will reflect that. And by focusing on this, the supreme vibration, we will then emanate that specific frequency, and the outer world will reflect that. And that's the ascension.
Okay, so RJ, I want to go back to the frequencies that are being bombarded on Earth. Who's sending these frequencies, and how do we utilize them? Like, I guess, will this just raise the frequency of Earth, or do we have to be working with ourselves in a certain way in order to take advantage of that?
Okay, well, who is sending the frequencies? I'm not sure if I gave you the answer to that, it would even matter anyway. The key is not to try to figure out the who. It's try to work with yourself optimally, to know yourself, right? That is the one mandate of existence, to know thyself and all thy infinite potential. It's just cyclical. So the analogy I always use, Justin, is like a flower, right? It starts off, then it comes up, opens, fully blooms, right? And then the same process starts to happen again. So this is a cycle. It's the evolution of consciousness. It's a cyclical nature, and we've done this so many times that we're doing this one faster, much faster than we've done any of them before. So it's not really a who that's sending them. It's the nature of the environment, and the nature of consciousness itself is that it goes in cycles. So, and what was the other part of that question?
How do we actually raise our frequency? Is our frequency raised as a consequence of these higher energies, or is there something that we need to do in order to put ourselves in the right place for that to happen?
Well, something you absolutely need to do. So, someone could prepare the greatest meal ever, but if you're not hungry, it's not going to make a bit of difference. So, what I was saying before is that it's kind of like the red carpet is being rolled out. We're being presented with higher frequency energy, which is really our opportunity. This is the gunshot for the race to begin, for us to start working with ourselves in a more advanced, holistic way. Now, this can get broken down in terms of recognizing the ego mind identity, what it is, and how we are not that. Now, when we stop putting focus on what it is that we are aware of and put focus on the awareness itself, and that's the big switch, because we're constantly looking outside of ourselves, researching, garnering information. It's never going to change anything. It's never going to change a thing, because that is only your mental body. That's all that is. So when we start to focus on the awareness itself, not what we are aware of, that's when the frequency raises. So our frequency, our body-mind complex is attuned to and part of the local environment. The local environment is extremely low frequency. It doesn't get much lower than the bottom three frequencies that band together to give us what we call a three-dimensional reality, even though it's just frequencies of height, weight, and width. So we are at the very bottom three floors of this 400-story high rise. So unless we have some kind of detachment from the body-mind complex, we will operate in a very low frequency way, because we are immersed within this biological suit or garment, which is part of and attuned to the local environment. So automatically, we are going to have a low frequency experience, which is what it's like to incarnate into the lower frequencies of the physical universe, a low frequency experience. But we are not low frequency beings. In fact, we are the opposite. Now, for us to raise our frequency, we have to detach from the identifications, from the attachments that we've made through the process of incarnation and then societal conditioning and brainwashing. And this has to do with attention, your attention being harvested. So how we operate in a high frequency way is through detachment or non-identification with what it is that we've identified ourselves with since incarnating. So the fastest way to do this is to utilize one of the meditation magic tricks that we talk about, which is to pretend that you just arrived here. No past, no future. Now the real you, the awareness, is now online, right? We're no longer tethered to anything that we've garnered from here, including this. Now, when we can stay in that state of clarity and detachment, you'll feel much better. And by feeling much better, you're more in tune with who you are. And that's the simplest, most direct way to understand in terms of how to work in a high frequency way. We have to have discernment through detachment and non-identification with all that has come since arriving here.
So in a way, RJ, are we like a helium balloon that's like maybe has like little weights on it, and all those things are our attachments? Like in reality, we could float as high as we want to, but we're tied down to things.
That's a way. I mean, yeah, that's a way to look at it. I mean, everything that's here. I mean, if we want to know what gravity really is it's the intention from the projection of the higher selves that have projected aspects of themselves from rocks, minerals, plants, insects, animals, narcissists, humans, and aliens, and everything that I didn't mention if I missed anything. It is really the intention from the projection of the higher selves to be here. So gravity really is that force of intention to have an experience of the lower frequencies. So if we if we detach from the identification of what has occurred since we got here, we will operate in a much higher frequency way. If you are unaware, I lead a global meditation where all of us come together with a single pointedness of focus by harnessing our attention and intention, which is a massive amplification of our energy, which yields greater efficacy in terms of what it is that we desire to manifest. If you want to help change the world, literally, sign up on the link below, because we're going to be doing another one very soon.